everyone, I'm Tima, and this is my channel, Cooking for Health with Tima. All right, and on this channel, I show various types of things because food is more than what you eat. So I show various types of food because food is more than what you eat. So food is information that we take in. It's any and everything that we take into our body, right? Because it's all a sort of a type of nourishment. But before I get into what I want to talk about, I want to let you guys know about something that happened to me. I just want to share the story. So we were on the plane on our way to Atlanta. And so, like if you drive through mountains, your ears start to pop. So, we're on the plane, and so my ears start to pop. And it got so bad that I started grabbing my head. Then next thing you know, I'm like this. And next thing you know, I'm like this. And I started crying because it was just this excruciating pain. And so I'm trying to calm myself down from being stressed out with this, but I'm in so much pain. And so then I started seeing this image inside of my head. And what this image was showing me was this flower that hadn't bloomed. And it was still sitting down at the dirt. The bud was still sitting down at the dirt. So I couldn't see the stem yet. And so then I started seeing the bud come up. So I started seeing the stem, and it was going up and up and up and up and up. And then it blossomed and it opened up, right? And so I thought, I was like, what the hell am I seeing? Like, why are you showing this to me? And so I went, oh, okay. I started to understand what it was showing me, what I was showing myself, right? So I said, okay, let me do this. So what it was showing me was I needed to bring something up from deep within me and bring it up, and then I can open up. And what it was is air, okay? So it was showing me energy. Energy is just air. So I start to bring up my air, bring it up. And then as I'm doing it, I'm clearing out my head. My ears are popping and opening. They're opening up. So I feel the pressure start to release. And my ears start to open up, and there's no more pressure. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm feeling so good now. And so I started doing it more and more and more. And the lady sitting on the side of me, I could tell she was like, what the hell is going on? She's like, oh my God. But she never said anything. It was so funny. And so I'm doing it more and more and more. And I just started feeling so wonderful. I started feeling kind of high. Yeah, started feeling kind of high. But then I was like, okay, let me stop, because now I'm starting to feel kind of faint. So I just did it a little bit too much, so anyway, if this ever happens to you and you're in excruciating pain, now you know how to relieve yourself of it, right? Just bring up some air. Because I was like, and swallow down. And swallowing it down. Oh my gosh. And it would just open it up and just open it up and just open up, and it just bloomed. I was like, woo, yes. So that was fun. Okay. So on to what this conversation is supposed to be about. All right. So most of you that have been on my channel, watching any of my videos, whether you subscribe to my channel or not, subscribe to my channel, okay? Subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications so that you know when I come back on with another talk for you guys to share something, right? Okay, so, but yeah, I healed myself of fibroids. So this was back in 2014, all right? And so I didn't plan on writing a book, and I said this so many times in videos. I'm not going to write a book. I didn't plan on writing a book, but I had to end up writing the book, right? All right. So now, unfortunately, something that I've been hearing from a lot of our sisters, right? A lot of our sisters. I'm talking about Black women, okay? Because the majority of when you start talking about fibroids, it's with Black women. I'm not saying that doesn't happen to other women, but Black women, right? So the feedback that I've been getting from a lot of Black women, because, and I'm hearing it because I healed myself. So I'm being asked questions, and I've been doing some workshops, and, people just want to come and ask me different things in regards to it. And because the assumption is that I would have the answers. I may not have the answers, but I can guide you to somewhere that you can get an answer, right? Okay. But so one of the main things that I've been hearing from women is that they've gone and had surgery prior to knowing who I was. And afterwards, you know, it seems fine for a while, but then they come back and they're right back into the same situation that they were in prior to even having the surgery. And so in the conversations that I would be having with some of these women, it all seems the same, right? It all seems the same. Basically, there hasn't been a change, because basically what you would need, there has to be a change. There has to be a plan of action behind it. And there was never a real plan of action behind having this surgery or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm saying a plan of action, so it's like, okay, so what does that look like? Right? And even Dr. Sebi would have mentioned something, and I'm going to paraphrase something that he was saying. So he was saying when he would treat people, he would always tell them not to go back into eating the same foods that they were eating before. And so the automatic question that the mind would want to ask is why, right? So the why, and I don't know if he mentioned it or not, but this is my why. So why is because you would upset that that environment that has been established. So you just got rid of that old body that you just completely wrecked over the many years of you having it. So you just recreated a new body, this whole new environment in here. So if you go back to doing the same thing, then you just really did go backwards. You just moved backwards instead of moving forward, right? So you just destroyed your new biome. You just destroyed this new environment that you had built up, right? And so, yeah. And so Dr. Sebi was saying, you know, people died because of this. So this is how you were hurting yourself, okay? Because you have no plan of action, right? So you have to decide, what is your plan of action gonna be like to move forward with all of this? So, and unfortunately, so when I start thinking about different things and I look backwards, you know, this is stuff from childhood, because these are things that more than likely we ain't taught. Because let me just stick with my household, right? So my mother and father, they weren't really about the why. Our mother, she wasn't really a very talkative person. And in all honesty, I'm not either. But I come on because I want to share stuff, so I kind of force myself to talk. But our father, he was a talker, but he was the type of man that was like, well, because I said so. Basically, you know, he's talking to children because I said so. My dad, you know, he was the man that was more actions speak louder than words. Just do it. It's Nike, just do it. So he wasn't elaborating on stuff, right? So that causes a child to interpretate things the way a child is going to interpretate things. Okay, well, I don't know what this means, but he said don't eat it, or maybe start doing some experiments, you know, whatever, because you're a child and it wasn't explained to you. So with me, because our dad wasn't always explaining stuff, and he was the one that was really, really telling us not to do stuff or to do stuff, and wasn't giving the explanations behind why to or why not to. So I started developing this type of, I don't know, I guess it was like a hate for my dad, and he was making me angry and all this type of stuff, because it's like, well, why can't I do this? Well, why can't I do this? You know, basically, you know, because we would see children eating stuff like McDonald's pizzas and stuff like that, and we couldn't have any of that. You know, we see it on TV, and see these children playing around at McDonald's, and then there's Ronald McDonald, this crazy, scary looking clown, and we couldn't be a part of any of that stuff. So, I didn't like that. As a child, you don't like that. And then you're not telling me why I can't be a part of this. Is there something wrong with me that I can't be a part of this, Dad? What's the deal with that? So that made me feel the type of way. I'm a kid. That made me feel the type of way. And so, but when I got older, I understood why not to eat this type of way, why don't be around these type of people, why you shouldn't listen to this type of music, why you shouldn't do this, why you shouldn't do that. But I had to be older when I got the information. You know what I'm saying? And then the school system was no better, because wasn't getting it there either, because if I was getting it there, then I would have already known, I'm not going to say they was doing the best, because it could have been better. But I graduated, but, whatever. So anyway, but unfortunately, this type of thing is kind of rampant in the Black community, right? So there has to be a plan of action set in place so that you can move forward with it all, instead of moving backward into that death cycle, right? You were just living in that murk in your body, in your system, right? Until it was cleaned out, and then you put it right back in. So the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra, that's the chakra that's right behind your navel. That's our womb. That's the sacred womb area. Right? That's the color purple. And so what are chakras? Chakras are, they're called meridians. These are energy centers inside of our body. And each of these energy centers has specific organs that are affected by the energy that's inside of that area. And so the energy that's inside of, well, not the energy, but the organs that's inside of this area. This is our womb. This is our ovaries. This is something that's also affecting our kidneys, the skin, the prostate, the bladder, and then fluids, as well as like adrenal glands. Okay, and so now the Orisha that's over this is going to be this is Yemaya, or you say Yemoja. So basically, you call her whichever one that you want. Just depends on the diaspora. So, and her color is blue. And so you might think, okay, so if her color is blue, then how is she over the sacral chakra when the sacral chakra is orange? All right, so you see my necklace. My necklace is orange and blue. All right, so orange and blue, those are complementary colors on the color wheel. So while I was away at school, I had a color theory class as well. All right, so you learn about the primary, secondary, tertiary, all these different colors, right? But you're not really going into much depth with it, okay? And it's dealing with light, colors of light, and colors of pigment. Okay, so now the more I looked into these colors, the more I started having this different information come to me. So because I already knew about the basics of colors, once I started hearing about chakras, I'm saying, okay, so this has to do with colors as well. And then when I started hearing about the Orishas, it was like, okay, well, they have some specific colors too. And so my mind said, okay, just put it all together, and then just figure some things out on your own. So, which is actually what I did. And so I wrote all this stuff. I wrote all this stuff inside of my book. Okay, and so with Yemaya being blue, and she's over this area. So Yemaya, she's also known as the mother of Orishas and over creation. And the womb area, this is a very creative space, right? So this is a creative space, and I'm going to read this from what I have inside my book. So the sacral area is a very powerful creative space as it produces our children and holds on to energies, positive and negative. Now, Dr. Llaila Afrika, he was one of the first persons that I heard speak about how the kidneys actually hold on to our emotions as well as fear. And then so I was reading on the Orisha stories. And then the Orisha stories where Yemaya is her story, inside of her story, she endured a lot of pain, bringing forth her children, as we would do, as well as she was abused. Now, so with this would come pains, sadness, and the running of her waters called our tears. So Yemaya, she represents the waters that's inside of us, like the amniotic fluid that surrounds the baby. She also represents the waters out in nature, right? The large bodies of water out in nature as water spraying from her, as the baby spraying from the water inside of our womb, right? So the sacral consumes and transforms matter into energy and energy into matter. So which comes down through the solar plexus here and up from the root chakra, right? The vaginal area. So now this is a very tight specific space to create with and what it's giving in terms of food and emotions. So sprouting up from the root are the emotions and energy we hold in based on who we believe we are. So these branches or limbs help to shape and form the sacral and all the energy centers, right? So it's not just the food that we're putting in that makes us healthy, right? So what does a plan look like? It's not just going to be about the food as in fruits, vegetables, teas, drinking water and stuff. All those things help, but then there's something else that has to be added onto it, because this is all about energy. This is all energy and how energy transforms and how energy has to move, right? So that's that word mover that I used last time that I brought forth, right? So that's move, okay? So this is energy, right? So our emotions, so let me back up, because with Dr. Llaila Afrika saying how our kidneys hold on to emotions of fear and anger, that just means you have a block. There's a blockage of energy now, because now you're not able to be fluid, okay? See, because Yemaya's energy is very fluid. It's water, it moves, it flows, it's current. Like out in the oceans, it's the current, it's waves, it's motions, it's going up and down, and it's very fluid. And even if you look at, hold on a moment, there's somebody at my door. Okay. These people just don't understand. I'm doing a live here. Okay, so, all right. So, I'm not sure what the last thing is that I said. So, but anyway, so Yemya's energy, it can be used to build up as well as to tear down, like oceans and waves crashing and hurricanes and stuff, right? It's also oil. So Yemya's energy, it can become turbulent and it can also become stagnant, right? So I'm gonna read this to you. So trauma can cause her fluids to build up. These waters are also known as edema, right? So that's all the fluid, right? So it's a symptom of disease that can be related to kidney, heart, uterus, and even prostate disorders. So weakened tissues may retain fluids in an attempt to repair damage and keep in electrolytes. So this is when Yemaya uses her waters to surround the area, dissolving excessive waste. Okay, so Yemaya, the Orisha stories, to me they give like a much more deeper explanation of things that I wish my parents and teachers and adults around us would have done when we were kids, right? So with this being the with the sacral chakra, and so basically I talk about the main thing that I talk about is going to be the sacral chakra, because this has to do with healing our womb, and getting over some stuff. And so when I say that food is more than what you eat, and because we're eating and we're taking in a lot of like emotions from other people, and we're holding on to that. So like being angry, fear that's being put on us from maybe different belief systems and whatever, or the fear of dying from some disease that's coming around. Although death is a process that we are going through our life, the moment of our birth, we are already going into death, right? But the fear is how soon it's going to be coming, and it's going to come tomorrow, and oh my gosh. And the thing is, we just don't understand what death is though, right? So we hold on to like fear, we're holding on to angers, and it's holding right in there. And so when we developing these blocks, it starts to interfere with the way that we digest, metabolize our food. That's something that was happening to me. So again, what does it look like to say I need to have a plan in order so that I don't move backwards, so that I can continue to heal and be healthy from after having this surgery or whatever? Because again, I didn't have surgery, and I've been asked, did you have surgery? No, I didn't have surgery. That's not something that I knew that I was going to do. When I saw that my mom, after she had the surgery, and basically that was what killed her, having the surgery and not connected to anything else, but she had the surgery. Yeah, I already knew that I wasn't going to do it. I set my mind and said, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. I don't believe I'm being cut. That should be the very, very last resort after you have exhausted everything, in my mind. That's just the way it is. So yeah. So you go and you allow yourself to be cut on, and expecting that now this is going to be the beginning of the rest of your beautiful life, because now I have this growth out of me, but then, again, it comes back because you didn't have that plan of action. So you have to have a plan of action set in place, why you shouldn't do all those things that you were doing. And now you need to know what all those things were that you were doing that got you into it. Okay, so it's a lot of the food that you're taking in. Okay, and it's not just that it's the food that you take it in. I'm not just talking about the vegetable. So say you're eating meat, right? So it's not just that you're eating the meat, and it's not that you're just eating acidic foods, and it's not just that you're eating bread. It's that you're overdoing like everything. Everything is being overdone. Okay, so what did you have for breakfast? Oh, I had some sausages, some eggs. I had a piece of lamb, and then you know what I'm saying? I also had the milk. Okay, so that's all cow. Then I had, I put some butter and stuff on my waffles. Okay, there's more stuff. That's more stuff from the cow. And then what did you have for lunch? Okay, so I had a Whopper. And then I had this. And what did you have for dinner? Oh my gosh, we just had this big lamb chop, and we also had some ribs. you know what I'm saying? We overdo everything. Everything is being overdone, So there's this thing with gluttony, just overdoing like everything, So basically we're allowing our stomach to dictate what we're going to be putting inside of our mouth, instead of our brain saying, okay, no, we can't do this because this is what's going to actually happen. You say, okay, my body is just going to be in control of it all. I'm just going to, if my stomach starts to growling, I'm just going, let me go put some meat inside of it, because that meat is going to stay around inside my system for like hours and hours and hours and give me this fake type of energy so I can go on about my day, instead of just maybe eating a piece of fruit, eating some vegetable over here, you know, get your energy that way. You know, we just pack it on, right? Okay. So when you have fibroids, at least when I have fibroids, you know, there's a lot of stress that's involved with this as well. And see, and fear and stress, that's your body being in fight or flight mode. You know, that's your body trying to get you out of danger. You know, it's trying to make you aware of something, but you're not paying attention to that. Your body is telling you that you need to get yourself out of this. You need to do something to get yourself completely out of this and not put me back into this situation. But going back into that old environment of what you used to be doing, that's putting yourself right back into the fight or flight mode. And now you're going to be in fear again, right? You're going to be in the pain again. Now you're going to go and have the surgery again. And then that's like this cycle that you're going to be in now. And it's like, okay, at some point, you got to break this wheel. You got to break this wheel that we've gotten ourselves into, right? Okay. Yeah. So I want to see if there's something else that I want to go into, because I don't want to be on like so long. I really don't. But look, so this information I did put inside my books, okay? So there is book 1. Let me show you book 1. It was book 1 that I read some information on. This is book 1, okay? Book 1, you have the you have your weekly health guides. I give you my detoxes. I give you everything. I give you everything that I put myself through so that I can heal myself. Because it's not just healing yourself from the fibroids, although that's the main thing. But see, healing yourself from the fibroids is also getting rid of that energy, that stagnant energy that you've been holding on to, and you're holding it on down into your baby space. And again, that's that creative space. So it gets really creative. And then you're blocking it all off. So now that energy is stagnant and it wants to be fluid and it wants to move. And energy has to change. And if it's not able to change and move in the way that it's supposed to move, and you just making it stagnant and you're making it stale because there's no movement down on the inside of you to make this change happen, how do you get yourself out of it? Okay, so it starts to warp into something else. So maybe it warped into those fibroids. Maybe it warps into hemorrhoids. Maybe it warps into bladder infection. Maybe it warps into prostate cancer. Maybe it warps into uterine cancer. There's no movement down on the inside of you. Your energy is blocked, is stale, is stagnant, and Yemaya is like, look, I got to do something. I'm putting out this water. I'm surrounding these organs. I'm doing this, but it can't move. I have no movement here. You're restricting me. Okay? So you got to get it all to move. So I did, I have a full body detox. I did things very specific. I meditate a lot. So I'll give you my meditations. My meditations is for toning and building up your pelvic floor, because, you know, with your fibroids, your fibroids can cause things to shift, you know, depending on where it's sitting. And that's also why you would have the pain, depending on where it's going to be sitting. I learned that from Dr. Sebi, and then also from my doctor. Just depends on where it's going to be sitting. Shift forward, shift backward, where it's sitting, how big it is, or whatever. Sometimes how big it is, it may not cause you any discomfort. It's just you looking at it, and it's like, I want to look at this. And so now cosmetically, you're like, okay, I want to go and have the surgery. But, you know, so I have my full body detox that's inside of here. I provide you with the weekly exercise and the exercise for your mind, because you want to stay on track. And so I'm giving you these, the weekly health exercise. Can you see it? Gosh, you really can't see it. Maybe if I hold on this side, very vaguely. So I provide that as well, just so that you can go ahead and get into your exercises. You don't have to say, okay, I need to go get some paper, I need to go get some ink, I don't have a printer, I need to go to the printer. You don't have to do any of that. So you're going to have it all right there. That's if you get it off my site. But if you get it off of Amazon, I won't be able to send that because it's going to be shipped through Amazon. But it is inside of the book. So this is inside of the book. This is it here. This is the chart here. So all you have to do is just make your own. Just follow the instructions and make your own there. Right? So that's inside of the book. So I wanted to try to make it so that you wouldn't have any excuses to why you're not starting, right? So mainly what you want to do is read through the information, digest the information, understand the information. If you have questions, ask questions about the information, then you get started with it all, okay? Because you want to make sure that you're actually getting what it is that you're reading here. I tried to make it as simple as I possibly could. I know that sometimes what I do, because I'm usually talking to people who basically understand my mindset. And so when I say something, they're already going to understand what it is I'm saying. And maybe sometimes that could be a little bit cumbersome with translating that into writing, because I'm already expecting that the person that's going to be reading it to know exactly what it is that I'm going to be saying, right? So that was also one reason why I had to do some updates inside the book and put out a second edition, because it was like, okay, well, maybe you're not really understanding it because they're not inside my head. You're not inside my headspace, right? So you also, as I was saying, you have meditations. Meditations are specific. There's going to be a meditation after each, the first 3, 4 chapters, 3, 4, 5 chapters. There are specific meditations. The first 3 is very specific in regards to your root, your sacral, and your solar, right? So this helps to strengthen and raise your pelvic floor. And I came up with, I channel, you guys. I channel a lot. I channel a lot of information. So what I do, I sit in silence and I be still. I go inside, I go into my darkness and I come out with stuff. And during the time of the lockdown is when a lot of this stuff was coming to me, because it was very quiet and it was very still, So when I think of the different energy centers, because it's just energy and it's vibrations or whatever, right? So I think of fire. And so my meditations was about using the elemental fire when I'm doing it. So it's fire as well as using water. So, and what we're doing anyway is trying to burn things off. So we're trying to burn off, we're burning off negative energies that we've been holding on to, that's become stagnant within us. We're burning off the fibroid that's inside of us, encapsulated inside of balls, just to get rid of it. You would need to know how to focus your energy. And because when we were children, our father would have us, sitting down, cross your legs, don't talk. And he would often do this to us when we were children. I already know how to sit, meditate, and just focus and shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? That's also something that allowed me to be very creative, and manifest things. So when I was maybe about 11, 12 years old, I was already making shoes. I asked my mom, can I make some shoes? Sure. So if she said I could, then I did. So I went and made a pair of shoes, and I'm talking about wearable stuff, right? And then so later on, my late teens, early 20s, I got my first contract with Wilson's Leather, doing leather jackets, doing 4-ways and stuff like that. So I've always been able to manifest things and bringing things that I want into reality, and just being able to move forward with that. So I wasn't surprised when I was able to, I actually manifested that fibroid inside of me and then got rid of it. All right, because it was a manifestation that I brought upon myself, because I had actually created a mantra for myself without actually knowing that I did. And the way that I started realizing that's what had happened was my doctor, Dr. Ghazi, she had brought it to my attention, you know. So we were talking, and you know, she was saying how I took that pain too deep within myself. Because I was always saying to my mom, I'm going to take this away from you. I'm going to take this away from you. And I did, you know. And, you know, and in Aladdin, you know how Aladdin, Aladdin, he mentioned how he wanted to be a king. And then the genie said, well, you need to be careful of your ask, because you will get what you ask for, right? So I wasn't being careful with what I was putting out. Right. So you have to be careful with what you put out, as well as what you're going to be taking in. So it's a holistic thing. Right. And then also, you know, so you're going to have that. Those charts, it goes with every chapter that's inside of the book. All right. You're going to get a whole packet when you get it from me. You're going to get some paperwork when it comes from me. But if you just get the books, then you just have to make your own stuff. There's nothing that's difficult, but I try to make it as easy as possible when you get it directly from me. Now, think about meditating. So you're going to need to learn how to meditate. Sit still, start slow. And so basically the thing is to bring your body to heal when you're doing your meditation. You want to bring your body to heal, because if you've never meditated before, or attempted to just sit still and not move or whatever for a specific period of time, then your body is going to start acting up, right? So your body start twitching, your mind is going to start trying to go all over the place, your nose might start itching, your ear, whatever, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to sit still, and your body is like, nope. But the more you practice, the better and the easier that it will actually become. I have some videos inside of the meditation folder in regards to sitting still and meditation and what happens. Okay. So take a look at that. See how that can work for you, or anyone out there that's showing you how to meditate and focus your energy. Do that so that you can get into doing this, because you're going to need to know how to at least focus your energy. Actually, you do know how to focus your energy. It's just that we focus it in different ways and we don't even think about it. Because like if you're cooking, you're focused on what you're cooking, and yet meal comes out real good because you focused on it and you put all that positive energy right there inside of your food, and it came out splendidly. Right? You're focusing on that person that you're in love with. You're focusing on the energy that you guys have together. See, you're focusing in that way. We're focusing and putting intention into our relationships, right? So that we can nourish these relationships that we have, right? So that's focus, that's intent. And then like when we're playing games, I've mentioned this before in a video that I did on a live, when we're playing games, because this is the easiest one. When we're playing video games, we are heavily focused on playing that game, and the intention is to be the winner. See, so we can focus on various things, and we can sit still or whatever for various things without actually thinking about it. It's just when we think about sitting still to do something, that's when the issue comes into play. So that's the part that you need to get under control like that, right? Okay. So let me see if there's something else that maybe I want to talk about before I end this. I probably should have wrote down a list. I started to write down something, but I ended up just writing like nothing really. I wrote nothing. I should have wrote something down. Yeah, so I really can't think of anything else that I want to mention in regards to this. But I showed you Dr. Llaila Afrika's book, The African African Holistic Health. So I would recommend, getting that. He has a lot of great information inside this book. That's a huge book. He has a lot of great information inside of that book. He talks about various herbs, vitamins, minerals. He talks about sexual personality types, foods to avoid. See, he has his own list of foods to avoid as well. I didn't stick to his list either. Basically, I went off of what food did for me when I took it in. If I felt a certain way, then I left it alone, or I continued with it, just depending on how it made me feel. And I would recommend that you become the scientist like that too, because this is your body, and no one really can tell you what food is going to do for you, anything that you put inside your body is going to do for you. Okay, you should be the expert on that, because you're the one that's putting it inside your body, and you're the one that's going to be feeling the effects of it, right? Okay. Let me see. Something else that maybe I should bring up. I'm not sure. Oh, well, okay, let me mention this, because this was a question that was asked under my video. Why eat this way? The video that I put out in 2016, 2017 in regards to why eat this way. I was talking about my mom and her fibroids, and then how I developed the growth or whatever. So I was asked how I came up with the apple cider vinegar and baking soda, right? Okay, so that happened, gosh, that was, the children were in elementary school, middle school. It was like middle school or elementary school. And the teachers had them doing they were doing a science project, but they were doing a science project with pineapples and Jello. So the pineapples were like, that would be the bromide, and then the Jello would be like the fibrin, right? And so I was like, why do they have them doing this? And so when I looked into it, and the thing that was coming to me was cancer. They're looking into how to do something in regards to cancer, and they're using the children to see if any of these beautiful brown children can come up with an idea on their own to break this down. And so I looked a little bit more into it and started coming up with my own things. And so I experimented with several different things to see what things would break something down. And so the number one thing that came to me was acid. And so acid would be vinegar. And so I wasn't going to take in just like white vinegar. And so I already knew about apple cider vinegar, so I was using apple cider vinegar. Now, Dr. Layla Africa, he's against putting vinegar inside of your body, and I understand, because it's very acidic. So if you drink an apple cider vinegar down by itself, I mean, you can literally damage yourself. And if you're putting it into your vagina, talking about clean it out, you can literally damage yourself. You damage the flora that's inside of there as well. So I knew that I had to buffer it. And the thing that I knew that I could buffer it with that would balance it out was baking soda, because baking soda is very, very alkaline. You can just take some baking soda and put it inside of about a cup of water, like about a quarter teaspoon of baking soda, put it inside about a cup of water, stir it around, drink that down, and you can alkaline your body, because that's how alkalizing it is, but all good things can turn bad too, so you never overindulge in anything, right? But that was how I came up with that, right? That's how I came up with that. So what I did with that was something that that softened the fibroids, because if they're hard, that's another thing. So it softened the fibroids so that I could get my body to pass them out as I was healing my organs, right? Because the body is a very, very amazing thing. The body will heal itself. I mean, you cut your finger, your body will just get out of its way, and the body will actually heal itself on its own. right? So you place enough energy in a certain area in a proper way, you can actually heal yourself. I don't know if we can grow limbs back and stuff like that, like certain lizards or whatever. But I mean, you know, we can definitely rid ourselves of different things that's inside of our body, you know, if we have the fortitude to do so, if we have the mindset to actually do so. I'm seeing that my battery is about to die because I'm doing this on my phone. So I see my battery is about to die. It's blinking on right now and it's telling me that it's at 15%. So I think I better hurry up and end with this. Okay, so look, if there's something else that you guys would like for me to come on and maybe talk about in regards to what I went through, then, you know, let me know, and just put in the comments or whatever the heck, and I'll see about putting a presentation together and chit-chatting about it or whatever. And I'll have some links inside of the description box so that you can follow those or whatever, and get on my mailing list. Get on the mailing list because I send out information every now and then as well too. Oh, and inside of the back of book 1, there's typically, well, in some of them, there's a coupon in it so that you can get book 2. And in the back of book 1, you know, it actually mentions that book 2 was coming. That was supposed to be just one big book. This is book 2, the Neutral Zone. Book 1 actually mentions that the book is going to be called Entering the Neutral Zone. The Neutral Zone is your heart chakra, right? That's your heart chakra. All right. So my phone is about to die, and I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I can get out before it crashes the entire stream down, because it's gonna go out in a minute. But since I can't, I'm gonna say peace and hair grease, and everybody be well, and I'll be back sometime later to chat with you guys. Thanks for your time. Thanks for chiming in. Peace out. Subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications so you know when I'm going to be back on. Peace out.